Hello and welcome to the news at 7 on NTA International. I am Elizabeth Omori. And our sign language interpreter is Hannah Olainka. Now let's take a look at the headlines. With the elections over, President-elect tasks political actors to shift attention towards proper leadership and governance. Senate applauds President Muhammadu Buhari's assent to 16 constitution alteration bills. Plus, European Union ministers endorse elements of new post-Brexit trading deal for Northern Ireland. A new presidential order aimed at protecting the nation's cyberspace from all forms of intrusion will soon be endorsed by President Muhammadu Buhari. This is to effectively synchronize efforts of Nigeria's security and law enforcement agencies towards addressing the numerous security challenges bedeviling the country. President Muhammadu Buhari stated this while inaugurating new offices of the National Security Advisor and National Counterterrorism Center. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
Described as pride of the nation and a worthy legacy of the Buhari administration, the new state-of-the-art national security infrastructure was designed and constructed in 3 years by the Office of the National Security Advisor. The high-tech facilities are aimed at enhancing the nation's strategic response to a broad range of current and emerging security concerns, especially terrorism and violent extremism. The National Security Advisor, Babagana Munguno, guided President Buhari on tour of the world-class security infrastructure, including forensic laboratories and National Crisis Center. The facilities, he said, will further enhance Nigeria's already recognized contribution to global counterterrorism policy and practice efforts, as well as give impetus to the country's internal, bilateral, and multilateral cooperation and collaboration in tackling the menace of terrorism and violent extremism.
The conceptualization, design, and development of the new offices of the National Security Advisor and the National Counter-Terrorism Center were based on Mr. President's vision of ensuring a robust national security enterprise for our country. It is my great pleasure to thank you, Mr. President, for the enormous support and confidence you have reposed in me to fulfill these projects as part of the numerous legacies of your administration.
The United Nations' new agenda for peace focuses on holistic and comprehensive approaches to building societies in which terror has no home. It is our understanding that the National Counterterrorism Center aligns with this overall peace-building agenda, and that its functionality and success will contribute to further strengthening and supporting the peace architecture in this country.
President Muhammadu Buhari, who commended the National Security Advisor for what he called the noble achievement, expressed confidence that the facilities provided will optimize efforts at addressing the newly evolving security challenges towards achieving the desired peaceful and secure environment for the country.
This commissioning is coming as we are gradually winding down this administration. It will therefore serve as a major legacy to provide the incoming administration with the state-of-the-art infrastructure to effectively coordinate our national security and counter-terrorism efforts. Most importantly, this will demonstrate our firm commitment to ensure our national security capabilities are kept abreast with the highest global standards.
The president, who used the opportunity to highlight the gains recorded by his administration in improving national security, was emphatic that the promise made on coming to power in 2015 has been largely delivered.
I can confidently state here today that we have achieved significant milestones in degrading the major threats and restoring normalcy to most of the hitherto securitized areas in the northeast, The government has also curbed a series of armed banditry and kidnapping cases in the northwest and north central zones, which emerged as a result of the scattering of Boko Haram in the northeast and the implosion of Libya in the Maghreb.
He also described as pleasing that key threats within Nigeria's maritime domain, such as piracy and sea robbery, are being tackled, with over 87 oil tankers involved in various crude oil theft arrested. President Buhari is, however, worried over the dynamic nature of cyber threats with the increasing digitization of the economy, and promised to endorse a new presidential order towards effectively protecting Nigeria's cyberspace from all forms of intrusion. In Abuja, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Away from security, President Muhammadu Buhari says, given the chance of a free and fair election, as well as non-interference, as witnessed on February 25th and March 18th elections, Nigerians have proven to be capable of deciding who leads them without anyone telling them what to do. President Buhari expressed satisfaction with the passion towards democracy exhibited by Nigerians through their choices they made in the Presidential National Assembly and the subsequent governorship and state houses of assembly elections. He said Nigeria's democracy has truly matured. The president, who was speaking at a farewell meeting with the outgoing United States Ambassador Mary Beth Leonard at the State House in Abuja, said he's completely satisfied with his role in the election process, stating above it, without meddlesome or any form of interference. The president commended the outgoing ambassador for the enormous achievements recorded in Nigeria-U.S. relations in the 3.5 years she had been here. Now, after the March 18 governorship and state assembly elections, nationwide, 24 states' results have been declared. Elections in 2 out of the remaining 4 were declared inconclusive, while 2 had the exercise put on hold. Saliu Wanara in this report highlights the exercise.
The 2023 general elections came with a mixed bag of anxiety and expectation from the citizens and the political class. It showcased a series of contests in which 18 political parties actively participated. Many described the process as not only competitive, but a veritable testing ground for the nation's democratic maturity.
Those who partake in the exercise at the governorship, state assembly election level, they had played to a very large extent by the rules of the game. There were less violence, there were less ballot snatching, except for a few incidents that you cannot rule out.
In the past, we've seen a situation whereby the sitting government, the incumbents, always have the final say. But this time around, the electorates, their vote really counts.
March 18 proved to be another remarkable day in the nation's political history. On this day, for the 7th time, Nigerian voters through the ballot took the decision to elect governors and members of the state houses of assembly for another 4 years, in line with the nation's maximum of 2 terms system. Some incumbents have been elected for a second term to complete 8 years in office, except in the 8 states where off-cycle elections will hold at a later date. The exercise took place in 28 states, even though winners are still being expected in Kebbi and Adamawa states, where the exercise has been declared inconclusive, and in Abia and Enugu states, where the process have been put on hold by the Independent National Electoral Commission. Only the governing All Progressives Congress, the main opposition People's Democratic Party, and the New Nigerian People's Party have so far gotten state government house occupancy in the 24 states where the exercise has been concluded.
In any way, we still pray that whoever and those people that they've emerged as our leader today, that they should just have pity upon us. The suffering in Nigeria is too much.
Let us do things right to justify our belief in the country. We owe a debt to this country. No other person that could put this country right other than us.
I don't know why there should be a struggle. As some of them that are privileged to enter, they should be able to rule well, so that what they keep on ground should be able to speak for them.
As at Tuesday, 21st March 2023, leading the winners table is the All Progressives Congress, having won in Cross River, Ebonyi, Gombe, Jigawa, Katsina, Kwara, Lagos, Nasarawa, Niger, Ogun, Sokoto, Yobe, Benue, Borno, and Kaduna State, while the People's Democratic Party won in Akwa Ibom, Bauchi, Oyo, Plateau, Delta, Rivers, Taraba, and Zamfara State. The new Nigerian People's Party won in Kano, the state with highest voter turnout in the 2023 general elections. The position of many Nigerians is that politicians as key actors have a role in managing post-election activities by being in the forefront of processes that will engender unity and healing by exhibiting the true spirit of sportsmanship in the interest of the nation's democracy. In Abuja, Saliu Gwanara, NTA News.
In the All Progressives Congress, APC has described as unconstitutional the declaration of Abba Kabir Yusuf of the new Nigeria People's Party as winner of the just concluded governorship election in Kano State. State legal advisor of the party, Abdul Fagi, stated this while briefing newsmen on the position of the APC in Kano. Abdullahi Mustafa has details.
That Yusuf Abba Kabir of NNPP, having satisfied the requirement of the law, is hereby declared the winner and is returned elected.
This declaration brought to logical conclusion the conduct of governorship election in Kano. However, for the All Progressives Congress, APC, it is not all over. The party is challenging the grounds on which the returning officer for the governorship election declared Abba Kabir Yusuf of the NNPP as winner, citing the cancellation of results in some areas due to overvoting and willful violence. The APC wants the declaration made by the returning officer reversed and declare same as inconclusive.
As well as order that rerun election be conducted immediately. This way, electoral justice will be done and seen to have been done.
The APC gubernatorial candidate, Nasir Yusuf Gawuna, urged party members and supporters to remain calm and law-abiding while the party hierarchy seeks legal redress. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
President-elect Bola Tinubu says after the Nigerian electorate voted to elect their governors and state legislators that will serve them for the next 4 years, attention must now be directed towards proper leadership and governance. In a statement, the president-elect says, as the elected, the only way to justify the trust and confidence of the people and the mandate entrusted to them is to commit to the service of the people. He also expressed readiness to work with all the elected state governors as president, promising to be a worthy partner they can trust and rely on as we all bond together in unity of purpose and renewed hope for the betterment of the country and her people. The president-elect, however, expresses sadness over the reported isolated infractions during the elections and its aftermath in some states, saying the report of arson after the announcement of governorship results in one state did not represent who Nigerians truly are as peace-loving people. Going forward, he recognizes the need to urgently take steps to unite the people while championing the healing process by embracing the opponents and their supporters. He appeals to Nigerians to rise above their differences, which in reality are fewer than the valid strings that bind them as a people, irrespective of the circumstances of birth. He commended President Muhammadu Buhari, INEC, security agencies, observer groups, civil society organizations, development partners, and the electorate for the success of the elections, which he said is pivotal to the growth and sustenance of democracy. The United States has expressed concern over the acts of violence and voter intimidation in the just concluded 2023 governorship and state houses of assembly elections. The U.S. government, in a press statement issued this Tuesday, called on Nigerian authorities to hold accountable and bring to justice individuals found to have ordered or carried out efforts to intimidate voters and suppress voting during the election process. The United States said it will consider all available actions, including additional visa restrictions on individuals believed to be responsible for or complicit in undermining the democratic process in Nigeria. The United States renews its call for any challenges to election results to go through established legal processes which must not be interfered with. Meanwhile, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has denounced an online report accusing its chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, of attempts to violate its guidelines and consequently distort the governorship election results in Abia State. Chief Press Secretary to the INEC chairman, Rotimi Oyekomi, in a statement notes that the only communication sent to the state returning officer was the commission's directive suspending further collation of results. He said the INEC chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, never called the returning officer to give her a directive. Rather, the returning officer wanted the official communication on the commission's decision to suspend the collation of results in Abia State. The chairman then directed that pending the delivery of the hard copies, the soft copies of the commission's letter be forwarded immediately to the resident electoral commissioner of Enugu State and the administrative secretary of Abia State, the statement adds. Still watching the news on NTA International. Let's take a breather. More reports ahead. To stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. The House of Representatives says the amendments to the Electoral Act by the 9th National Assembly have been instrumental in improving Nigeria's electoral process through the use of technology for accreditation and transmission of results. Resuming plenary after the governorship and states assembly elections, House members were emphatic that an objective assessment of the 2023 elections showed remarkable improvement from the past. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
After each election cycle, gaps are identified and changes are initiated for improvements. It is with this line of thought that House members reconvened plenary, having put the amended Electoral Act to the major test. House Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila says a fair assessment may not suggest perfection of the process, but fair play is among acknowledgements that cannot be taken away from the entire process.
We need time and the deliberate efforts of political, religious, and social and economic leaders acting in recognition of the fact that while elections will come and go, our highest imperative remains the progress of Nigeria and the prosperity of her people.
The Speaker also expressed commitments of the legislature to pass the Electoral Offences Commission Establishment Bill for enforcement against violators as they undermine electoral and constitutional provisions. Political empowerment for women and other marginalized groups is another area of focus in the few months left for the 9th National Assembly.
If it's not too late, those issues regarding the empowerment of women, we still have time, hopefully, to bring one or two of them back on the floor of the House. National building is also a joint effort. Every significant advancement is the product of collaborative efforts by numerous people acting in different capacities.
Other features at plenary include first reading of 6 bills, while 2 other bills passed second reading. These include the bill to amend National Identity Management Commission.
Okay, Section 27 of the Principal Act is what we are amending. It's actually in operation by the executive. We're only giving it the legal backing.
The House adopted 2 resolutions. The first from Uyime Idem, calling for adoption of measures to curb train mishaps across the country.
In spite of these unfortunate trends, which are as a result of the carelessness of some individuals, no one has ever been held to account for the unfortunate loss of lives.
House member Muhammad Al-Ali urges the rehabilitation of highways in Jos Plateau State. Meanwhile, the House Committee on Public Accounts has submitted a report on the bill seeking the establishment of an independent office of the Auditor General for the Federal Capital Territory Area Councils. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
And the Senate has applauded President Muhammadu Buhari for assenting to the 16 constitutional alteration bills, describing it as one of the major achievements of the 9th National Assembly. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Umko reports as Senate reconvenes after election break.
Senators are back to the chamber after the rescheduled governorship and state houses of assembly elections. President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawal, welcomed his colleagues and commended President Muhammadu Buhari for assenting to 16 constitutional alteration bills.
With the financial independence of state houses of assembly and state judiciary are very, very critical for the development of democracy in Nigeria. In fact, for good governance as well.
He explained that the National Assembly will constitute a committee that will liaise with the executive to find out why 19 other constitution amendment bills did not receive presidential assent.
Maybe there are a few explanations that could be made and then they will be okay. And we will do that almost immediately because time is of essence. We shouldn't think that the time is too tight. I think even if it is one day that we have left, we should do our best. Where the issues are too much to handle, I think the next assembly, the 10th National Assembly, should be able to attend to such issues.
Senate received presidential requests for the confirmation of 7 nominees for appointment as members of the governing board of the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation, with Abdul Karim Mobalaji as chairman. The National Human Rights Commission Act Repeal and Reenactment Bill, Nigerian Building and Road Research Institute Bill, the Federal Medical Center Uli Anambra State Establishment Bill and the Orthopedic Hospital Ihitu Boma Establishment Bill were passed. The Chief Whip of the Senate, Oji Uzo Kalo, has described the Electoral Act 2022 as a work in progress. He was speaking when he briefed Senate correspondents on the just concluded general elections across the country.
What I would like to see with my colleagues is for us to go for electronic voting, so that where people like in India, it might not be automatic by electricity, it might be manual. You just punch the button, so nobody is doing anything with paperwork.
The Senate Chief Whip also urged the ruling All Progressives Congress to zone the position of the President of the Senate to the southeast. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Now, to religious matters, the Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Saad Abubakar, has asked Muslims to look for the new moon of Ramadan 1444 AH on Wednesday, 22nd of March 2023. A statement signed by the Chairman, Advisory Committee on Religious Affairs, Sultanate Council, Sokoto, Professor Sambu Walik Junaidu, says Wednesday, 22nd is equivalent to the 29th of Sha'aban 1444 AH and the date to look for the new moon. The statement requests the sighting of the new moon to be reported to the nearest district or village head for onward communication to the Sultan. And out to the foreign scene, European Union ministers endorse elements of new post-Brexit trading deal for Northern Ireland, just as Kenya receives 30,000 tons of wheat from Ukraine. These and more with Uche Ugochukwu on Global Updates.
EU member states have given their approval to key changes to the Northern Ireland Protocol provided for by the Windsor Framework. The move will give the European Commission a mandate to bring forward the changes through the EU-UK Joint Committee, which implements the Brexit withdrawal agreement.
Today's agreement delivers smooth-flowing trade within the whole United Kingdom, protects Northern Ireland's place in our union, and safeguards sovereignty for the people of Northern Ireland.
This new framework will allow us to begin a new chapter. It provides for long-lasting solutions that both of us are confident will work for all people and businesses in Northern Ireland.
The Joint Committee is expected to meet in London Friday. In another news, Ukrainian military intelligence in a statement said Russian cruise missiles were destroyed in a blast on the Crimean Peninsula that was annexed by Moscow in 2014, but denied responsibility for the mysterious incident. An explosion in Zhankoi, the north of temporarily occupied Crimea, destroyed Russian Kalib NK cruise missiles as they were being transported by rail. Russian investigators had earlier said that air defense systems repelled a drone attack at Zhankoi and that debris from the incident damaged a shop and home and left one person injured. Kenya has received about 30,000 metric tons of wheat from Ukraine to help at least 5.4 million Kenyans affected by drought and famine.
In a few days, that one expectant mother in Turkana or Tana River will have food in her plate. In a few days, that one lactating mother in Marsabit or Mandera will have food for her family.
The donation is part of Ukraine's humanitarian program. The UN's World Food Programme has supported the delivery, which it said was financed by several countries, including Norway, Belgium, Italy, the Czech Republic, and the United Kingdom. That's the Global Update. I am Uche Ugochukwu.
And Global Update ends the news at this time on NTA International. Thank you so much for watching. Do remember to always take action against rape and rapists. I'm Elizabeth Omori, and our sign language interpreter is Hannah Olainka.